Hello, my name is Jonathan Dominguez, and today we'll be going over the installation of the Effort project. If you have any questions, you can email me at the email listed here, or the product owner, Dr. Masood Sajadi, at his email underneath. Alright, so now, firstly, we have to download Visual Studio. So when you navigate to the page, you just click Community 2019. Take you to the download. You run it. Hit yes. Continue with the installer. It downloads and installs the installer. Okay, and for the project, you're going to want to select ASP.NET, .NET Development. You can select the Universal Platform as well. And then you're going to want to click Install. This is going to take a while, so I'm going to stop it right here and I'll come back when this is finished. Okay, so now Visual Studio has finished installing. So now we can close the installer. And now we need the SQL server. So navigate to the page, download for developer, and then we run it. Hit yes. We can just do the basic installation. Default installation location is fine. We have to restart the computer. I'll be right back. Okay, so after restarting the VM, we come back to the same page and run the developer installation. Basic again, accept, just install. This will take a bit. I'll come back when it's done. Okay, so once the SQL Server installation is done, we're going to want to install SQL Server Management Studio here, SSMS. You can download this separately afterwards, but it's just easier to do it now. Just hit run and give it a second to download everything. Hit yes. Default installation directory is fine. Now we just wait for it to install. Okay, so now the SQL Server Management Studio has finished installing. We're going to need to restart the VM. We'll be right back after this. Okay, so here we are after we restarted after installing SQL Server Management Studio. So now let's open it up. And we need to do this to add an administrative login for the effort project to then access the SQL Server. So server name is localhost, just use Windows authentication. All right. So then we click on security and we right click on logins and we add a new login. And now we want SQL Server authentication. And the username will be EFRT for effort. And the password will be EFWA, the same as EFRT, in all caps, just like this. That will be the password. So I'll just enter that here, EFWA, EFWA, and we hit OK. And now we have our EFRT login here. So now you can close this. And now we can start accessing the project. So we need to download source tree to access the repository locally and work from Bitbucket. So we download and run. So when the installation window comes up, you want to hit Bitbucket server, and then you navigate to the repository link, and you can just copy that, paste it in here, remove everything up till the port, and then just enter your username that you used to log in, and then your password. Now you've connected to the Bitbucket repository. You want to install Git and Mercurial. That's fine. Just let it download and extract. Hit next. You can set the global details for it's not directly related to the project. It's more of a Git thing on your local machine. We don't have an SSH key right now. Okay, so this is source tree, and so for the main project you want to access effort web app and web API. And we hit clone. And here you can set where you want the repository to be made locally. I'm just going to leave the default location and I'm going to clone it. And now you have to wait for it to download everything. Okay, so here we are with the repo cloned. Here you can access the different branches if you go to remotes and origin. For the sake of showing you an example of how to create the database from the project, I'm going to use my team's last build, EFEC Sprint 12. Create a local branch. Okay. So now I'm just going to navigate to this, where I made the repository, and launch it in Visual Studio. Visual Studio 19. Not now. Let's just set the preference. We'll come back when it's all loaded up. Okay, so now we have the project all loaded up, but before we do anything with that, we need to install .NET Core 2.2 SDK, just in case if we don't have this already installed. On this VM it is not installed, so if you don't have it installed either, make sure you get it. We're going to run it. Gonna hit install. It should just take a minute. Okay, now we have SDK 2.2 installed. Let me go back to the effort project inside Visual Studio. Okay, now that we installed the .NET 2.2, we're going to want to restart Visual Studio just in case so all the changes are effective. So we close, just reopen. Last open project, we'll just open that because it's the same one. Okay, so now we have to make the database using the entities that are in the project. So we have to go to Tools, NuGet Package Manager, and then open up the console on the bottom of the screen. And you're going to want to right-click Web App API, or Web API rather, and set it as the startup project. And then down here in Default Project of the console, you want to have Data Access. If not, it won't work. Okay, so now that you have Web API set startup project and then the default project as Data Access, right here you're going to want to type in add migration data access dot context dot effort context. Hit enter. This will generate the migrations for the database using the data access and entities layer. And this is the context snapshot for the effort database. So now you want to type in update database. Okay. Oh, this is an easy fix. You just open up SQL Server Management Studio. And now we connect to localhost. And then you want to click on properties of the local host, security, and make sure that it says SQL Server and Windows Authentication Mode. That's why I couldn't connect, because SQL Server Authentication was disabled. You have to restart the server. And also, while we're here, go to security, logins, and on the effort user we made before, you want to right click on properties, and then go to server roles and make sure it says server admin here, or else we won't be able to populate the database with this. And system admin. Okay, and I hit OK. And now we right click on the database and we hit restart. Or not the database, the SQL server. My mistake. Yep, restart. We just let it restart the server. Refresh. It's running now, and so we do update database. Now it should properly generate everything and populate the database. Or it should generate the database and then populate it. The user doesn't have the correct permissions. It didn't save system admin for some reason. Okay. Let's try that again. And now it's properly running through all the tables and generating them in the database. This takes a minute. And now it's finished. So now if you go back to your database, close this, open databases. Here you have the effort database with all the tables. And you can right click and select the table, or the rows rather, of a table. Here are the auto-generated logins for testing purposes. Now we can close this because we're done with that database. And we can close this. And now we start with ngrok and node. Okay, so first you're going to want to download node. We just download 10.16. Just run it. Next, accept. Default installation is fine. Next, install. While this is installing, we go to ngrok and we download for Windows. We just open. It just gives us a zip. And so we need somewhere to place this. So we can just put it on the desktop. It doesn't matter. And now you access ngrok just by double clicking this, and it brings up a console. Node has finished installing, so we close that. And now we have ngrok installed. And so to properly use ngrok, first you have to create your account on ngrok's website, and then you have to use this command to connect it to your account to then start using it. Let me show you that right now. Okay, so after logging in, your page will look like this. You go to your authentication tab and you just copy your authentication token. Open your ngrok page, or window I mean. Type in ngrok auth token, and you paste in your token here and you just execute it. And now your authentication token is saved to your ngrok configuration file. And now you're ready to start using this to start testing webhooks, which will be covered at another point. This has been the effort installation guide and setup. If you have any questions, email me on my email listed, or Dr. Masood Sajadi, the project owner, at his email listed underneath. Thank you.